Lots more still to come. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV. See you in a moment.
We predict showers. Warm showers. Do you see? Proud sponsors of Good Morning Britain National Weather. Boxed boilers.
Welcome back to Good Morning Britain. I am at a beautiful National Trust property, Ham House in West London, in the Cherry Garden this morning. The sun is shining, and if it isn't, hopefully this reflection from my coat will give you some idea of what it will be like for many of us later. It is set to be warmer than yesterday. At the moment, though, it's still divided. Not all of us seeing the sunshine. The far north of the UK is cloudy. Rain continues in Scotland, heavy for the west. There's still a warning in force until tomorrow morning, and that brings the risk of some localised flooding. But it's to the north of that cold air looms. But in the south and much of England and Wales, beautiful, dry and sunny. Cold and frosty to start for some of us this morning. It will soon warm up, and top temperatures could be 24 degrees. The first time we've seen that in over 50 years, and only the third time we'll have recorded that in the UK. But it does come with moderate levels of UV and high levels of pollen.
For the weather where you are in detail, go to itv.com/weather.
Tuesday, 30th of March, 2021. Live from Television Centre in London, this is Good Morning Britain with Ben Shephard and Susanna Reid.
Good morning, Britain. It is just before 8 o'clock. Here's Charlotte with the latest headlines.
Morning to you. Take a look at the top stories this morning. And the Chief Medical Officer for England has warned of another rise in coronavirus cases as the country emerges from lockdown. Professor Chris Whitty said the increase would only be modest if everyone stuck to distancing rules.
Yes, the Prime Minister is saying that we must proceed with caution as we come out of lockdown, and there is that concern as well over the next couple of days with a heat wave on the way that people may be tempted to come onto beaches up and down the country, particularly here in the south coast, and potentially break the social distancing guidelines and rules.
Yes, here in Wales last summer, they say they saw exactly that when the restrictions were lifted. Crowded beaches, parties on the beach and even antisocial behaviour. As the stay local rule is lifted in Wales, there's a warning from local leaders that people should continue to follow the distancing rules. They're also warning people from England that they shouldn't yet be crossing over the border and visiting here without a legitimate reason.
The government's coming under mounting pressure to order an independent inquiry into a culture of sexual abuse and assault in Britain's schools. Almost 10,000 people have now written about their experiences on an anti-rape culture website.
Well, shocking stories are now coming in from students right across the country. At this school, girls have tied ribbons to the railings and say they're the victims of boys in the local area. The Education Secretary, Gavin Williams, says appropriate action will be taken, but the government's being criticised for not doing enough, having known about the scale of the problem back in 2016.
In an open letter and video out today, Sir Lenny Henry is urging black people in Britain to get vaccinated against coronavirus. The latest figures show the vaccine rate amongst people of black African ethnicity is less than 60%.
You have legitimate worries and concerns, and we hear that. But we're asking you to trust the facts about the vaccine. So please, hear us.
And when your turn comes, take the jab.
And also this morning, new footage of the last moments of George Floyd's life have been played to jurors on the first day of the trial of Derek Chauvin, the former police officer accused of his murder. Witness testimonies described Mr. Floyd slowly fading away as he was pinned to the ground in Minneapolis last May.
That video was a painful reminder as to why this trial, the most significant in America's history, is so important. Proceedings will resume in this building behind me. The prosecution will continue to set out their reasons as to why Derek Chauvin is responsible for the death of George Floyd.
Noel, thanks very much indeed.
So following on from the success of Love Your Weekend, the Queen's favourite gardener is back and getting ready for the summer.